going to help the stadium workers. And Seton did a great job coming up with this idea. So we have different team colors. There's the Bears beer here. Green, Seattle. Got blue in here. Arizona Cardinal red. Just a regular t-shirt. Beer here. I got Minnesota Vikings purple in here. I got the Colts. I guess it could be the Colts beer here, but these are all the proceeds going to help these stadium workers. So, good stuff there. Beer here.
1 minute.
You had some people talking yesterday, people who get paid to do this. The Vice President Pence had a call with college commissioners, and you had some reaction to this. USA Today said part of the call had to do with differentiating college sports from professional leagues. Pro athletes can collectively bargain their working conditions in their return to play. College athletes cannot. In fact, the liability of bringing college sports back too soon and exposing athletes to infection could be significant. The commissioners, USA Today goes on to say, will be the main entity that will decide when college sports return, with input from the NCAA and medical personnel, of course. College football does not have a central authority. Most power is held by the Power Five conferences, ACC, Big Ten, Big 12, Pac-12, and SEC. You can't order them back, and you can't say to your athletes, hey, it's not safe enough for students to come back, but come on back. Not going to happen. Can't happen. And you can't say to them, they're student athletes. I think it really puts them in a precarious position. Imagine if your kids, your children are one of those players, and you can't go back to school, but we want you to go back and play football. If they have safeguards put in place where everybody is tested, where those who need to get tested can get tested, but then we start to look at the athletes and you want to get them tested, and you're going to do that on a weekly basis, all it takes is one person to test positive. And then you shut down. One person. Let's say Michigan's football comes back, one player tests positive. You shut it down. Right? Those are some of the hurdles that you have here. And that's where it's difficult. You're talking about a mayor in Los Angeles, Mayor Garcetti. You're talking about the governor, Gavin Newsom. They're not going to be having fans in Los Angeles at sporting events. Not anytime soon. The NFL's planning on this. I told you, I don't know if it's, I don't even know what day it is sometimes, but was it a week ago or 2 weeks ago? The NFL's looking at a truncated schedule that you're looking at a 12-game, 14-game, maybe you get to 16 games, but they have to look at alternative plans here. Washington Post had that yesterday, Mark Maskey. While still publicly committed to kicking off its 2020 season in September to pack stadiums, the NFL has been contemplating contingencies that include a potentially shortened schedule, holding games in empty or partially filled stadiums, and moving or rescheduling games if necessary. That's three people familiar with the league's planning said on Wednesday. Yeah, I got that information 2 weeks ago, and they were looking at, it was probably going to be 12 games. I said, would they go down to 10? And I got a pause at the other end and said, probably not. They would want to try to get 12 games if possible. A lot of scenarios, and we should be thinking about scenarios. But I also think you got to, Mike Trout said yesterday to Mike Tirico on NBC Sports Network, look, I don't want to be quarantined for 4 months. My wife is pregnant. I can't leave to then be there for the birth of my first child. But they want to get paid. They need to get paid. So there's so many different loopholes here. Can I put a big bubble over Phoenix and Scottsdale and Chandler, Arizona, and say, yeah, go in there and it'll be safe? I hope it's safe. Can I do that to Florida where it's far more spread out? It's just a challenge here to try to do it. You got the WWE coming back. The UFC is going to be coming back. We're going to talk to the commissioner of golf, the PGA, tomorrow and ask about golf coming back. I can see golf coming back. There is social distancing. I could see tennis coming back. There's social distancing. I don't have any fans there. But you could still hold those types of events. You could do remote cameras with golf. Augusta could set that up right now. They have the money. They have the infrastructure there to just set up remote cameras. It's not going to look pretty. You'll have robotic cameras. That's what we have here in the man cave. Robotic cameras. One person is in control of that, set it up. Number of people, you limit the number of people who go out to work on the course, and you hold an event. The players understand social distancing, you and your caddy, that's about it. But I think you can do some of these sports. It's what are we rushing back for? It's not jump-starting the economy. And if it was, I'd say, okay, I understand. But if no fans can go, this is about TV revenue. This is about the TV networks here. This is about the players getting paid. That's not jump-starting any economy. But we continue to search here, and we continue to try to come up with scenarios, which we should. It's when we put a time frame on these leagues, on a decision. Look how many times we've done this, all of the sports. You know what? Should be able to come back in April. Hey, we're planning on coming back 1st of May. Hey, we're thinking about June. Hey, now there might not be football in the fall. Now we're talking about spring football. We're all over the place here. And that's where it gets dangerous, because you're pushing something that maybe it's the immovable force against the irresistible object. You got to be careful of how much we push, how much we open this up. And I have friends who live in states and say, what is the big deal here? I have a friend who lives in Arizona. He's playing golf every day. He goes, we don't see anything. This isn't a big deal out here. I said, well, it might be. But there are other parts of the country that are severely impacted by this. And you got to be fair to them. If you're, Rutgers playing in the New York City area, can you really host a game? Can you travel? Syracuse, can you travel? Can somebody, there are all these logistical nightmares. But I'm glad we're exploring it. And yes, we all want it to come back. But I just don't think anything's coming back anytime soon. There's going to be a whole lot of pressure to do it. I just don't know if we could do it and make it safe for everybody. This program is brought to you by LegalZoom. You need to make it legal. Make it LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom has made it easy to set up the right estate plan without leaving your home. Take care of your family today with the right estate plan at LegalZoom.com. And I don't get on any political soapbox. I try not to. I'm just trying to be realistic. I'm being honest with you in what I see, what I hear, and what I think. There are no political. I don't want to weaponize anything that has to do with COVID-19. I don't. I had the opportunity to go to Yale Hospital 2 days ago with my wife, who makes ice cream, and she wanted to hand it out to workers. Just to show up and say, let's put a smile on their face. And you're witnessing the front lines. They have 400 cases of coronavirus there. And you could see in their faces, they're shell-shocked. They're like, oh, my God, thank you. Like they just wanted something that said, thank you. Smile on your face, just anything. And they said, well, how come you're here? And I said, look, I'm along for the ride just to try to get some credit here with my wife. She's the one that's wanted to come here. And they said, thank you. No one on the streets. No one. It's like a ghost town in New Haven, Connecticut. At Yale, one of the great hospitals in the world. And you could just see what they're going through. So you can't go, hey, let's just be cavalier about this. You can't be. If you're around it, you see it, you feel it. And I'm fortunate that I'm safe, and my kids are, and nobody has contracted this. But I feel lucky that I'm able to do this every single day. So just understand, it might not be where you are, but it could. And it is affecting a lot of people. Maybe not as many people as we thought, but it's still affecting quite a few people. New York City is apocalyptic. You don't even People who've been in New York and people who have to live in New York and stay in New York and stay in their apartment tell me, you just look outside and there's no life. There's nothing. It's just, you can hear echoes when people talk. So it's haunting, and that's why I always caution. Let's not put a time frame on this. Let's understand exactly what we have in front of us here. Attack it together, and hopefully we get something in our lives that we've come to appreciate, expect, take for granted, and that is sports back in an arena, in a football stadium. All of those things, which I think we could all use some comfort right now when it comes to that. What is the target demo for these new uniforms? I mean, the reason why I bring it up is the Rams aren't marketing to me. The Browns aren't marketing to me. The Atlanta Falcons aren't marketing to my age group. So what if I don't like it? I'm not the one buying these jerseys unless I'm buying it for my son or grandson. And that, then they're still getting their money out of this. So if you were going to say, what's the sweet spot for, marketing these uniforms, what would it be?
Well, I think it depends on what you think the function of the uniform is. You're suggesting that it basically is just a piece of merchandise, and that's certainly part of it. But it's also the thing we see when we watch a game every Sunday. It's what we look at and connect with. When we turn on the TV. And, the famous Jerry Seinfeld line that we're all rooting for laundry is largely true. The players come and go, they get traded, they retire, but we keep rooting for that uniform no matter which player is wearing it. And that's an important thing as well. So while you could say that, only the 18 to 34-year-old demographic is what, who buys the jerseys, but they are marketing to you. They are marketing, to me or my dad or whoever, because those are fans as well. And those are the people you want to connect with your team and have an emotional attachment.
Yeah, but
to your team.
I won't turn my team off or pick another team because they have a crappy uniform.
No, but you may feel like a little warmer and fuzzier about it, and that can translate to other things. I mean, you look at teams like the Packers or the Cowboys, or or the Rams for that matter. Rams fans, and I can tell you because I hear from a lot of them, Rams fans feel really strongly about that helmet with the curly ram horns on it, and they're going to be and think of the NFL. We feel really strongly about NFL helmets, right? Like, what do you have in your studio or TV studios? They have the helmets of the two teams that are playing because that is almost a de facto logo for an NFL team, is its helmet. And we don't buy helmets. Helmets are not merchandise. I mean, you may buy a sticker that shows a helmet or, a mini helmet or something like that. But in general, the helmet is not a major piece of merchandise. But it's a really important piece, arguably the cornerstone of any team's visual branding program. And so I do think it goes beyond just the merchandise sales.
We make way for Bubba Watson, the great golfer. Did you ever play golf with Michael Jordan?
Have I? No, I've never played with Michael Jordan. I've hung out with him a couple of times, but never hit any balls with him.
I wonder how that would be because he openly trash talks. And I don't know if you've gotten into those, matches where you're with non-golfers who talk trash.
Listen, there's one thing I'm good at, and I'm good at talking trash. I might not be very good at golf, but I'm really good at talking trash. I can out-talk you. I can tell you that much.
But do you do that with Tiger?
Anybody. Yes. And there's certain guys, even on tour in tournament competition, because we're having fun, right? I mean, it's an entertainment business. And there's certain guys, there's a handful of guys where we can poke fun at each other while we're in a main event, right? And not just a practice round. And so, yeah, it gets fun. That's when it gets fun. When you see that guy, you're paired with that guy that you can joke around with and poke fun at. That's when it gets really fun.
If not you, then who's the king of trash talking on the golf course?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, Tiger's got 82 victories. He's really the king. But I'd have to say Matt Kuchar. Matt Kuchar he's good at it, and he does it like he's smiling at you. He's got everybody fake. That's a fake smile, by the way. I'll go ahead and tell you that Matt Kuchar smile.
I can't imagine Matt Kuchar being mean-spirited.
See? He's got you fooled.
He does because he's always got the smile. They're yelling "Cooch," but meanwhile he's jabbing you a little bit.
Yeah, while he's smiling at you, and you're like, you get so mad at it.
The reason why I was curious about Michael Jordan because I was looking at the experience that you guys are offering, you and Denny Hamlin. So explain that to the audience what the experience is, the All-In Challenge, and then how they can take part in this.
Yeah, so Denny Hamlin, we're pretty good friends, and he's a little lefty golfer, and he came up with this idea, and I said, man, I'm all in, which is the name of the thing. But he said, I'm gonna let people come and play golf with me at Michael Jordan's course, because him and Michael Jordan lived in Charlotte together, and they're good friends. And so he said, we're going to do it at the Michael Jordan course, Grove 23. And I said, man, I'll come down, I'll play. and I've given away one of my watches that I have in my collection, a Richard Mille 3901.
Wait, those are really expensive.
Yeah, this one's they're hard to come by, and this one's roughly, we'll just say roughly, somewhere around 150,000 for this watch. And so donated the round of golf. And then Denny's taken him on to who's done pretty well at Daytona. I think he's 3-time winner of Daytona. And he's going to take him there for an experience of a lifetime, hang out in the FedEx box, which is right there by him, and go meet his crew, meet him, get a fire suit that he wears in the car. And then I think he actually, if I remember correctly, he's going to take him for a hot lap, maybe drive him around in the car for a second. And yeah, I mean, this is an experience that you get to play golf with Denny and shoot the breeze with him, hear trash talk between me and him, and then get to play golf with me, and then get a cool watch out of it and a cool fire suit out of it. I actually have one of Denny's. Denny had me a fire suit made. I've never been in a race car, but I have a fire suit just in case, I guess.
Oh, well, you got to do a ride-along with Hamlin.
I don't trust it. Listen, you're talking about a car real fast. He told me he would hang me 2 inches from the wall, and I said, I'm out. So
he'll make you throw up, Bubba.
Oh, for sure. It's the same. I live in Pensacola, Florida, where the Blue Angels are, and they ask me all the time, and I said, no, I am not going up in the Blue Angels. So this all-in challenge, I mean, the way it came about, Michael Rubin just had an idea, and we're talking about, his ultimate goal would be $100 million. And when you start seeing, like this morning, Drake got involved. I saw Ellen was involved yesterday. I mean, just all these people coming together trying to feed all walks of life in this pandemic. And so everybody's trying to do a good thing, and hopefully it turns out well. I saw we just went over, not we, but the whole organization went over $6.5 million, I think. So it's starting. I mean, only 3 days or 4 days in, it's starting on a good pace.
That's great.
So it's been amazing so far. Yeah.
So it's called the All-In Challenge. Is that the website, or you go to fanatics.com?
I think you can go to Fanatics, but there is a website, allinchallenge.com.
Okay.
And then that might transfer you over. But yeah, so it shows all the different things. There's one, it's only $10, so you can buy a raffle ticket. I guess it's like a raffle ticket or your name in a hat for these ultimate things you can get, like get a co-host with Ellen. You can be in movies with Kevin Hart and
that's great.
Leonardo DiCaprio for only $10. And then you can buy an experience as well, on an auction part of it.
Well, you got 2 green jackets. You don't need 2, so why not throw in a green jacket, like a loner?
Exactly. Hey, I'm trying to hang on to mine just so I can prove to everybody I did it.
Did you watch this past weekend when Tiger was there with Jim Nantz, and so he was looking back on when he won the Masters last year?
I did not see that.
Oh,
I was still
good.
crying from watching mine as well. So.
It was so good because, Tiger doesn't share too much. And to understand what he is thinking in the moment, it was really fascinating. Then the previous day they did when Phil won the Masters in 2004, where he was the analyst there with Jim Nantz. So it was well done. Yeah, it was good stuff. Now, Phil loves to talk. Tiger usually doesn't love to talk. Is Tiger still blocking your text messages because you send stupid text messages to him?
Yeah, he ignores me a lot of times. I will say though, I'll give you one little tidbit.
Okay.
After he won the Masters last year in 19, he sent me. I came down from the champions locker and was right there when he got to the scoring area. There's a few of us golfers, right? 6, 7 of us golfers, and and we went down there to say hey to him, and he said hey, and we talked, and then he had to go sign a scorecard, right? He sent me a text the next week, and I should have saved it now that I think about it, but he said that thank you so much. It means so much that you would wait around while when I won, and that's probably the nicest words I ever got from him. Normally, they're a lot meaner. But
they showed it
cool
on the
that.
broadcast. They showed it, all you guys there waiting for Tiger.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a cool moment. Yeah, that you guys wanted to wait to congratulate him.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about. I mean, in our sport, I mean, that's the best ever. Who I've got to see. I didn't get to see Jack in his heyday, and so waiting around was no big deal. I ended up finishing 11th, so I was a couple groups in front of him. So no, it was easy to wait around and watch one of the greatest, and a person I call a friend. It was cool to get that text. I mean, it was nice that he would reach out, especially after winning. I'd still be celebrating. I'm still celebrating my 12 wins. So.
You played Augusta in a month other than April.
Have I?
Yeah.
Yes, at University of Georgia, we usually play. We got to go once a year, so we played in February. I usually take a couple friends, usually somewhere between January to April. So I've rotated depending on where my time off is before the Masters. So I've played in a couple months earlier, that same year.
What's it going to be like in November?
Gosh, I think that they're so talented, and their crew, I think it's going to be unbelievable looking, just like it is normally. But I think that, obviously the leaves and the trees will look a little different, more of a winter fall feel. But I think it'll still be spectacular. I mean, Augusta will not let the beauty of that course go away, if that makes sense.
You got the PGA in June. What do you think I was wondering about social distancing, that like golf could pull this off. There's no gallery, and it's just you and your caddy, and then, you're in a twosome here. Or maybe you carry your own bag. I don't know, but it feels like golf could do this. Tennis could do this as well. What do you think about the PGA in June?
Yeah, I mean, this is all new to all of us, right? And the new schedule just came out, like, gosh, I would say an hour ago. Revised schedule. So the first event would start June 8th. In Texas, at Colonial.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, this is something that we've never had to deal with as a society. So this is all new. But, yeah, golf could do it. Yeah, you're right. I think carrying the bag, yeah, you could easily get more people away doing that. But then I'd have to add my own numbers, so I'd be lost. So that would be tough. But golf, you could do it. Tennis, you could do it. I could see that for sure. But golf, I'm in the trees a lot, and most of the guys are in the fairway, so I'm away anyway. So,
have you ever hit a shot where you go, "Oh my God," and I'm a professional golfer? Like the worst shot you ever hit?
Oh man, I've hit many of those. I mean, the most famous one is number 10 at Augusta in 2012. I mean, I'm trying to hit a 50-yard slice, and I hit a 15-yard draw. So I missed my target by a little bit there. It worked out in my favor, but anytime you fat it in the water, I fatted one in the water at Bay Hill, Arnold Palmer's course, on number 18, where it's been shot from the middle of the fairway and just fatted it. It went about 30 yards right in the middle of the water. Does
your caddy ever say anything to try to cheer you up, or just go, "Oh my God, that's so bad"?
Yeah, he'll lie and say, "Oh, I think that was an old divot. You were in an old divot." I said, yeah, it was.
Hey, it's a great thing that you and Denny are doing, and all these athletes and celebrities. It's fanatics.com and also the allinchallenge.com. A lot of great items on there. If you want to go to Michael Jordan's golf course and you want to play with Denny Hamlin and Bubba, and also Daytona 500 package there and everything that goes along with that. A lot of good stuff. It's great to catch up with you again, Bubba. Hope the family's well, and we appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you. All y'all stay safe, man.
That's Bubba Watson.
I don't really believe in ranking the quarterbacks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I look at them like, okay, what guys are in the best position trait-wise or skill set-wise to be bona fide stars, like to be guys that you can just count on for the next 15 years to be rock stars, no matter really who their coach is or who's around them skill set wise. These guys are going to be great players. And it's Burrow and Tua. Those are the two players quarterback wise in this draft. Like Joe Burrow, if you looked at the greats in the NFL over the last 20 years at that position, and you just kind of took away the first thing that pops in your head when you think about that player, Joe Burrow has it. Like, okay, Tom Brady, poise or clutchness, when Joe Burrow's got that. Drew Brees, accuracy, when Joe Burrow has that. Ben Roethlisberger, pocket movement. Joe Burrow's ridiculous at it. If you look at Russell Wilson, his instincts, Joe Burrow has all that stuff. These are things that, like, so many people overlook because they're really difficult to measure unless you've, really trained your eyes to see it. Joe Burrow's got all of that, like all of it. Tua is very similar in that regard. Like Tua's accuracy is the greatest attribute that he has. It's also the most important attribute physically a quarterback can have. And so his ability to get through progressions, I call it the most programmed quarterback in the draft, not robotic, but programmed. So those two guys are rock stars. They're going to be studs if healthy for Tua, obviously. Herbert, to me, is like, my analogy has been like, when you go house shopping and you see this house, it's a beautiful home and it's got all the upgrades and it should sell really well, but it just sits on the market because every time you see the house, you go, man, something's wrong with that. It just doesn't feel right. And I kind of sent this tweet out the other day. Think of all the quarterbacks that we've talked about in the draft in the last 15, 20 years, that when the first two or three things out of people's mouth are, he's big, he's strong, he's athletic, he's got a powerful arm. Like, think of all those guys, and more often than not, those cats have failed. And I didn't say anything about that when it came to Brady, Russell Wilson, Breeze, Big Ben. I didn't say anything about that because that stuff doesn't matter. We look at quarterbacks the same way we look at all the other positions: big, strong, athletic, powerful. It should be the other way, the mental. And so that's what concerns me about Justin Herbert, is like, no one's going, man, he's got great instincts, or gosh, his accuracy is ridiculous, or he's just got this ability to make all these different kinds of throws. Those are all the things that people talk about, or like that I talk about, that he struggles with. And I just go, man, I would have a lot of concern about that because it's the most important physical attributes of the quarterback position.
If you pass on Tua to take Justin Herbert, finish that sentence.
You're scared to be great. You're okay with trying to be mediocre.
But is it the fear of taking him or the fear of not taking him? Which one do you think is stronger in this draft with Tua?
The fear of taking him. And I said that in January. It's going to take courage to take Tua. Let's be honest. It's going to take courage to pass on Tua, because this is the same guy that, and Kirk Herbstreit's great, right? Kirk Herbstreit is outstanding at what he does. And I think he's got a great feel and understanding of that spot, that position, college football. It's the same person, the same player that came into the national championship game, and Kirk Herbstreit on the broadcast said, Alabama's going to be okay. This kid is ridiculous. It's the same coach in Nick Saban, who we all say is one of the greatest coaches of all time, who decided to go to that player in that moment. And so if a team decides to draft Justin Herbert, it's just they are so scared that Tua is going to become hurt that they're willing to to chase mediocrity than greatness. They'd rather play it safe.
3, 2, 1.
Look at this. Look at this.
Little local takeout.
Supporting the local brewery here. It's called Dockside Brewing in Milford.
Brand new.
And the guy who helped us when we had Red Hook as a partner, he worked at Red Hook, and we came up with Audible Ale. He was the brewmaster, and that won the gold medal at the beer cup.
This is cold, too.
I love the color of that. So, our good buddy Andy and Dockside Brewery. Oh,
Andy's like the best friend you could have. He always brings beer.
I should taste this just to.
Quality control.
Yep, that's beer.
Yeah.
I don't know who she is. You know, you could probably get to a point in the evening when you're by yourself and you talk to her, I could just talk to her.
Time's
Like
up.
St. Pauli girl. I think I talked to her
Been
a
there?
couple of times. Where
Time
I
is tough.
Just held her up and said, "Hi, how are you?"
I was quarantined from women for a long time. Let's put it that way.
I was self-quarantined.
Yeah, they didn't want me around.
Yeah, that's good. Good class. That's a local. So I got wings. I got salad. I got everything. Beer. Now we do have a rule here. Guys in the back have to wait until 15 minutes after the show.
There's some anger.
One day the French kid was outside on a Meat Friday,
Busted.
and I walked out and it was 12:07, and he was taking a bite. I go, WTF? And he goes, what do you mean? I said 12:15 rule.
Did you smack the food right out of his
I
mouth?
did not.
30 seconds.
I did not.
Weird.
I thought about doing it.
Philly egg rolls, I love those. I never get those.
We got it all. 12:15 rule. Boys in the back.